welcome to another Parkinson's Walks Friday vlog, where we look back at the last two films that have gone out and look at your comments, observations and knowledge. It's always a good read. If you've tuned in just to watch the... I'm going to try to keep my head down to keep the reflections out of my glasses. No, this isn't working very well, folks. Down to me, I think. Right, now, if you've tuned in just to watch the film, jump forward about 20 minutes and you'll find it there. Right, now you'll hear references now and again in here to the Parkinson's family. Who are the Parkinson's family? Well, it's a virtual family because it's anybody that comments on a semi-regular basis. So if you want to join the family, feel free. Now we'll go and have a look at what's been going on, but I'd like to start with a message from Marilyn, who's the virtual family elder sister. And Marilyn writes, "Hello Ron and Parkinson's Walks worldwide family." Yeah, we are worldwide. Older sister calling from her armchair in Cheshire while trying to keep warm. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, I have this image of Marilyn sat in her rocking chair in front of the fire with Maisie the cat on her lap. Poor old Marilyn. Yeah, in the world of the Parkinson's Walks virtual family, poor old Marilyn got numbered with the title of the elder sister for some reason. She plays the part very well. Glad to have you on board, Marilyn. Oh, right, if we start on the first film, which was a coastal walk in Padstow, looking at the coastal defences around there. And Michael from Poland says, "Lovely to see your younger brother again." I haven't got a younger brother, but the film was filmed quite a number of years ago. Well done, Michael. Barry, these fortifications show that the French were a real threat in Napoleonic times, and they cost a lot more than we imagine. Yeah, they look basic, but obviously they're not. But yes, there's lots of defensive positions there to keep those dastardly French in line. But engage on a shelf, Simon. After a bad cold, almost back to normal here, except we're sitting up in bed trying to sleep. Have you tried sleeping sitting up? Ugh. We're getting on each other's nerves, so I've sent Suzanne out foraging for food. Well, I catch up with the internet. Seems fair, says Simon. Not sure Suzanne would agree, I'm sure. There you are. Donnie says, difficult to imagine that so much of our heritage coastline was once so industrialised. Yeah, we look at the place now with all its little tourist shops and nice painted sailing yachts, and then you get an old postcard and you can see as it was when it's in its working days, loaded with ships, bits of ships, sailing boats, trawlers, and all the paraphernalia that goes with it. Yeah, so much different. Jim in New Zealand, he says, here in New Zealand we also have winter weather. Although it's supposed to be summer, says Jim. Yes, they're in the southern hemisphere, so of course they should be enjoying a glorious midsummer now. Apparently not. It says, my eldest son and his wife are visiting from Sussex, and I think it's colder here than there. Crikey. David from Spain, Happy New Year, he says. Hope you had a good walk and lost a mince pie or two and have warmed up again. The flu hit us hard this Christmas. Mum has been in hospital. A quick update, the kidney stone is now out. Alright, okay, so that was an intermediate video that I put up that David referring to, trying to walk off the mince pies. We all know that feeling. But yes, they've been down with flu. So that's David and Simon so far. an awful lot of the family got hit with the flu bug that's going around, flu or cold bug. But what you don't want is the winter vomiting one. If you can avoid that one, you're not doing too bad. But yes, it put David's mum in hospital, but she's out now. That's good. And David's had his kidney stone, which has been playing him up for a while, had that taken away, so it's all looking good. But yes, a solitary note here from Abandoned Railways, Ron. It says, nice to see you out and about in a brisk walk. It might be an understatement. Deb's got well and truly clobbered by whatever this cold flu thing is that's doing the rounds. There's another one, Deb's. And Rodney goes on to say, I've got it now. And then a little bit later on he gave us another update. I'm back with my oncologist consultant again. PSA levels have been rising, which means that some cancer cells have mutated. They will counter that with some new medication, and hopefully it should be back to normal soon. Could have done without this though, says Ron. They've been going through it, haven't they? I mean, first off Ron had to have chemotherapy, then Deb's, and now it's coming back round to Ron. Hang in there, Ron, you know we're all with you, mate. Dave, who's back in Cornwall. Where you walk down to the lower quarry was the track bed of a narrow gauge railway to link the two quarries with the crusher. Well, the battered outlook on the headland is probably the shelter for quarrymen when blasting was going on. Crikey, I think I want something a little bit more substantial than that. Oh, well. Lionel. Believe it or not, he says, but Mary's very familiar with that area on both sides of the estuary. Everywhere I've been, Mary's always been there before me. She's been around, that girl. Oh, well done. He said, we're now over our nasty colds. There's another one. Blimey, that's not been playing havoc, hasn't it? Yeah. Right. Now, film that went out last week, I believe. I can't get rid of these reflections, can I? Keep my head down there. Right. Which was on Mangotsfield station, which was a station that was built on the Gloucester to Bristol line, and it's made a connection with Bath. So we went and had a look around there. There's quite a substantial bit of it still standing, of course. Rodney. Oh dear, this is great. That revived childhood memories, he says, of standing on Mangotsfield station with a rich aroma of cocoa wafting across from the adjacent Carson's chocolate factory. I can smell it now, Rodney says. Wow. So, and it looks like an ancient relic, but Rodney actually stood on there when he was quite a young man, admittedly. Isn't that an amazing link to history, isn't it? Wow. One of our members was there. And Barry says, it struck me that a horse-drawn industrial line built in 1828 was for the purpose of bringing coal from Gloucestershire. Yeah, all these, as very often with these lines, the original Gloucester to Bristol line was in sections horse-drawn at stages. It's quite a good history if you want to read up on rail history. That's quite a good one to start with. Michael from Poland, he says, good morning. Excuse me. Good morning and greetings from Poland. Thanks for introducing the photographs of days long gone which showed what the site was like. We all would like to include more photographs to show you what these old sites that we visit looked like in their prime, in their heyday. But of course there are copyright issues all the time. We don't want to tread on anybody's toes if we can avoid it, but where we can show them from very, very old photographs, know how to copyright, yeah, it does enhance the film, I have to say. Railway Christina. Christina says, Happy New Year. We'll visit and cycle this year. Fabulous, yes. Now, Christina, is that just one of these beginning of the year promises that fade away, or are you actually going to get there this year? You know, we ought to be kept informed. Charles from America. Was that station purely a transfer point, or was it serving the village of Mangotsfield? Mangotsfield, I keep calling it Maggots, it's hardly surprising, it's Mangotsfield. There did not appear to be a location for a car park or pathways for passengers to make their way to the station. That's only because they've been built over, Charles, and I understand. Yeah, but yes, it did serve the nearby village of Mangotsfield. Sharon Idle pops on now and again, keeps us in touch. She's working hard on her channel, uploading all her music on there. Brilliant. And she says, thanks for sharing that. I've never been there or seen the remains, so your video was quite an experience to me, she said. All right, well, perhaps you ought to do a visit one day when you're down this way. Trev. Trev. He said, I'm back in harness now after an extended Christmas and New Year break with my family. Good. I wish a speedy recovery to anyone who's not so good at the moment. Good. Today's video, having lived in North Bristol for nearly 30 years, I am very familiar with the Bristol to Bath path, having walked and cycled it many times. It goes all the way from Bristol then, all the way to Bath. It's on a tarmac surface most of the way. Brilliant. Why don't all the councils do that? And Trev then gives a very detailed explanation about the goings on and the development at Mangotsfield. It really is worth a read. It's brilliant. If you load the film back up again, scroll down to the comments and have a look through there. And to be honest, I have to cut short quite a few of these explanations, which provide lots of information, but we'd be here all day if I didn't. Which might not be a bad thing, I suppose. Yeah, we go and read that. One story that Trev tells is that he stopped at Mangotsfield station on one of his walks or cycle rides, sat on the platform edge, having his meal, and the passerby said, "You wait a long time for a train there, mate." Good old Trev. Engage on a shelf again, asked Simon. Ronnie says, you've managed to render me speechless with this video. Simon, speechless? No, never, never. He said, there's so much to see and I had no idea it was on our doorstep. Those triangle stations are a work of art, aren't they just? Yeah, brilliant. How am I doing with reflections, folks? I'm not very well, I fancy. Pete Payne. Shows what's still around if you look, he says. Those walls are a work of art. That's what Simon's just said. And built purely to support the canopy. Yeah, that wasn't part of the buildings. I don't think the buildings were joined to it. I'll be careful here, haven't I? I'm not quite sure. But mainly it was to support the canopy to keep the punters dry. Yeah. Well done, Pete. Pete, Tanya and Sid the dog. Jim Nichols, some slight improvement here, Ron, and certainly a bit warmer than what you're having. Yeah, we just had a week of frost here, hard frost. My eldest son and his wife will be leaving us Monday and returning to their snowy home in Sussex. They actually managed to get a suntan in a couple of rare days of sunshine on their generally cloudy stay. Ah, good. So they ended up with a tan. Something to show the neighbours, that's good. Always good you've been on holiday and you can show off your tan. Well done. Steve says this brought back lots of memories. When I used to live in Chippenham, I worked for the South Gloucestershire Council based in Mangotsfield. Oh wow. Spent many weekends cycling with my son along that route from Warmley Signal Box to Staple Hill Tunnel. Sadly I'm now living in Birmingham, but I do miss the West Country. Ah, well, lovely. You have to watch well you probably do, watch our Paul and his West Country wanderings. Give you a flavour of the West Country. Yeah, well done. But, we haven't had James up here yet. I expect he's lying injured somewhere. James from Canada. Oh my word, if he's not falling off his bike, he's falling off ladders now. Over Christmas he fell off a ladder and injured some ribs. It could only happen to James. Oh dear. And to think he looks after our channel mascot. It's one of the very few channels that has a mascot, which is Sumac. Sumac the dog. Morning, Sumac. And to think James looks after mine. I'm not quite sure whether James looks after the dog or the dog looks after James. I've got my suspicions. Oh well. Malcolm says a very enjoyable exploration with some marvellous details of what remains of this once busy junction. Wow. Mangotsfield station looks like a work of art, he says, worthy of preservation. I think we would all agree with that. The problem that we've got at the moment, of course, is that with councils' budgets being slashed, they have to look to make savings somewhere. And if you don't maintain a structure like that, it very quickly falls into decay. So, fingers crossed. David again then, from Spain. A wonderful discovery, and all things being considered, very well preserved. A great resource for the local area. I think we could do a roaring trade selling bells for the cyclists. They were really zipping by. Yeah. If you are a cyclist and you're on these paths, give us a bit of notification that you're arriving, especially for somebody like me with Parkinsons, because I tend to wander about. I'm thinking of getting a t-shirt made which says I'm not drunk, I've got Parkinson's, and so I could very well wander inadvertently into your path if I don't know you're coming. You do go by at a pace, so yeah, let's put that out there. For anybody that does cycling around these tracks, give us a bit of warning. Thank you. And David said, I'm sat here recuperating from Tuesday's op. I'm quite comfortable, but itching to get out. Yeah, David's had his kidney stone removed at long last. That was a bit of a saga, wasn't it, David? He said, I just need to be patient for the time being. Yeah, right. David, be patient. Yeah. Lionel and Mary travels again. Yeah, Lionel hasn't been out with his camera much just lately, like the rest of us. It's all not very inviting out there, to be honest. And David, Lionel starts off. You did well to avoid being knocked down by a cyclist, yeah. Have you noticed how few have a warning bell attached these days? Oh, look out, David, Lionel's moving in on your territory and you haven't even started yet. Lionel goes on to say, am I right in thinking the line to Bath actually went to Bath Green Park Station? Right. I had a signal box simulation on an old computer which covered the immediate area around Green Park. That's where I first heard of Mangotsfield. Oh, there you go. These youngsters think they're all modern with their new games, but Lionel had one years ago. Oh, well done. And now Robert jumps in and answers that, yes, this line did run through Warmley and Bitton and onto Green Park Station. Ah, well, there you go. This is what I love about this channel, when people jump in and answer other people's queries. Brilliant. Don't need it all for me to do, folks, because you'll wait a long time. So thanks for that, Robert. Thanks for jumping in. Donny brings up the close this week. These impressive structures, he says, are far from folly and were technically advanced systems of their day, and the fact that they still remain is testament to the practical skills of the creators. Yeah, and Donny's comment there was quite extensive, which I've cut down, but yes, he doesn't like the idea that people describe these things as follies and don't give them their true worth. A slight technical hitch there, we managed to run out of battery. That happened, but there you go. Right, back on form just to finish this off then. And this week's archive film is a walk around Croome Park, which is a National Trust property. And everybody visits the property, but I decided to look around the gardens instead because they've got a very historic walled garden there, which is worth a look, even if you're not one of the gardeners amongst us. Right. So we'll do that in a couple of seconds time, and then next week we'll continue our exploration of the Mangotsfield to Bath line with a visit to Warmley Station. See if we can find Warmley Station, see if we can find artefacts of interest there. and of course the cycle path goes through there, so there'll be lots of interest. So I'll see you there at Warmley next Friday. Getting the brain faded this time. I'll see you there next Friday then, and don't be late. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Croome Park, National Trust property. I think it's fair to say a lot of people come here for the walking. It's very good, and that's what we'll be doing today. We're starting off here. We've got past the church, through these little woods here, into the walled garden. It's a private garden, but it's very well worth a visit. Then we go round there, past the house, not going in there today, over the Chinese bridge, round here to the lake. We'll circuit the lake and then come back up through this shrubbery. Gorgeous, lovely day for it. Give it a go. Of course, you can't possibly start a visit without visiting the coffee shop first. Take some caffeine on. This was an RAF research base, so there's some exhibits associated with that.
So this is probably one of the oldest, and that division down there, that wall there, is not a dividing wall, although it's being used as a dividing wall. But that's a hot wall. Can you see along the top? It's got chimneys.
Yeah.
So it's actually got little fireplaces. One is uncovered up here, and then you'll see one down in the vinery there. It's a double-skinned wall. It would have sent the heat through there, and that was built in 1806.
So were there glass houses or something attached to the back of it?
Only where you see the little building there. There's the sort of like new brick that was just restored quite recently.
That was very interesting. Right, on with the walk.